The Gauteng Transport MEC has secured an interdict to keep the warring Soweto taxi associations out of each other's way. This follows violence in the Joburg CBD that's left several minibus taxis in ashes. Now, the Gauteng Transport MEC, Mamabolo, joins me now for this conversation. MEC, thank you very much for your time. Before we talk about your lengthy meeting with these warring associations, let's start with the interdict that you have secured. In practice, what does it instruct the taxi associations to do?
Firstly, let me greet you and all the viewers, and thank you for inviting me. Just to confirm that we have on Saturday night, same day that the touching of vehicles happened, to approach the court, requesting an interdict against Nandu and Wata, which are the two warring taxi faction groups in Soweto. And the court interdict basically prevents them as taxi associations, and we have also cited the two chairpersons and their members from any acts of violence, intimidation, threats to human life, and any act that borders on criminality and that could actually fuel violence in between the two taxi associations. We have also brought in South African Police Service in the interdict to ensure that if the parties do not comply with the provisions of the interdict, the SAPs must enforce the court interdict if the parties choose or opt not to strictly abide by the provisions of the interdict.
Yeah. MEC, the two taxi associations in question here, Wata and Nandu, you have held meetings with them. I understand you haven't seen a wink of sleep. What are the issues?
Well, Toli and the viewers, the main issue, which is the bone of contention, is the roots between the two associations, dating back, as they themselves claim, to early 70s. And of course, as the Commission of Inquiry into the Root Causes of Taxi Violence itself demonstrated, there has been over the years, issuance of permits on the routes that actually conflict, issuing one permit to the other, and that has happened over the years. And that is why, coming out of the Commission of Inquiry into the Root Causes of Taxi Violence, we are putting in place a mechanism to conduct independent hearings dating back to since these associations have been established, to then deal with the issues of the routes. And the process that we are putting in place will really compel the parties to bring evidence and proof, and even ourselves as a department, because the Commission has clearly indicated that our officials over the past years have also brought contradicting permits onto the route. So we're looking for an overarching, holistic, comprehensive, thorough and deep dive into the issues around the routes relating to these taxi associations. And we believe, whilst we are finalizing and putting in place that process, there should be peace and stability to make sure that that process of verifying routes happen in a conducive and proper climate where there's no violence.
MEC, you've used so many adjectives here. You're going to do a thorough, deep dive. You're going to do holistic, comprehensive. MEC, here's the bottom line, and it is that the commuters are priority number one. If you don't have commuters, these taxi associations have no routes to talk of. What is being done to protect innocent people who commute or who use these taxis to commute?
Let me just emphasize the point you are making. Firstly, as we started this conversation, the reason why on Saturday we had to spend the large part of the evening working on a urgent court interdict is precisely to save the lives of commuters, including the lives of taxi operators themselves. Their lives are also important. The second thing that we did was to convene an urgent meeting yesterday, precisely to make sure that we create an environment where peace and stability and, of course, securing the safety of commuters can actually happen. We have met with law enforcement as part of the series of consultations yesterday. They have fully deployed this morning. We have not as yet heard of any incident, and that is precisely because we believe that commuter lives are very much important, and that's why law enforcement is in full force on the ground. Fourthly, the process that I'm referring to of dealing with the root cause, which is simply an investigation into historically and even up to the latest moment possible, who is the legitimate association allocated to operate on the routes. That investigation itself and the determination that will be made, given the fact that over the years, as the Commission has clearly indicated, corrupted issues, that will also bring greater stability because the commuters also need to know, they need information about who exactly is allowed to operate where. Okay. And we believe that only an independent process can do that. So all our efforts, Crowley, are about saving the lives of commuters as expected by the law, and as I'm saying, those of taxi operators.
MEC, you've mentioned that an inquiry has already been held or conducted into the root causes of taxi violence in general. Now you are about to embark on yet another, and you're saying it's an independent process. I wonder whether the previous one that was held was not independent. A simple question, and very briefly, please. When do you expect to start this latest independent inquiry?
Yeah, and let me clarify the difference. We're dealing with, in the latest one, building on the report of the Commission of Inquiry, we are looking at one matter and one matter only, and that is the routes, because that report said to us, the biggest problem you are having is disputes on the routes. So we need to go deep into that particular specific issue. As I'm speaking to you, we have our last meeting, another meeting on Wednesday, to finalize that process with the taxi industry, to set the terms and the approach of how the route determination process is going to unfold. And after Wednesday, once we have clarified the technical aspects of the process, we will make an announcement on how the route determination process is going to be conducted as part of implementing the report of inquiry into root causes of taxi violence.
So for the time being,
into a specific matter.
All right. So for the time being, the associations continue operating, but how do they stay out of each other's way then?
So we have a court interdict. We have requested SAPs to make sure that they enforce the law and they enforce the interdict. So the status quo of how they're operating remains, and that's the decision we have made yesterday. And we are having a meeting on Wednesday to take up the discussions forward on how to transit from the current operations into the new process that will be determined by the route process itself. So those discussions are taking place on Wednesday, Crowley, and then we will update commuters and members of the public, and of course yourselves.
MEC, I thank you very much for your time.